Commission Secretary will be asked to lay a criminal charge with the police. He says that he's also going to determine another date for Jacob Zuma to appear. They're going to issue a summons for him to appear, and that summons will be served. And he's also going to ask the Secretary to make an application to the Constitutional Court on an urgent basis to issue an order to compel Zuma to appear in accordance with that summons. And when he does attend, when he does appear, he is not allowed to leave without getting Zondo's permission. Well, let's find out now from Lawson, Naidoo, from Casac's Lawson, Naidoo, just what he reads into all of this. Lawson, a very good morning to you. Thanks for making the time on such short notice for us. What do you read into this? We did say last week during the entire saga there that the Deputy Chief Justice was going to have to put his foot down and send a strong message after the actions of Jacob Zuma.
Good morning, Uveka. Thank you very much. Yes, indeed. I think this is a welcome statement from the Deputy Chief Justice. As he explained, I think in some detail, the importance of the Commission taking such a step at this point in time, stressing the importance of respect for the law, the rule of law, and that nobody is above the law. And it's quite clear, as many of us said last week when this happened on Thursday, that Mr. Zuma had flouted the summons, lawful summons that had been issued to him to give testimony to the Commission, and he's walking out without the permission of the Deputy Chief Justice amounts to a criminal offence in terms of the Commissions Act. So I, for one, am very pleased that the Deputy Chief Justice has made this announcement this morning.
So just take us through, just the legalities of this then, Lawson. When he says that they will lay a criminal charge, what would the actual charge be? Would it be in contravention of that particular act? Also in terms of the summons that had been served on Zuma to appear before this commission?
Well, in relation to the criminal charge, as the Deputy Chief Justice said, and you read out the excerpt from the Commissions Act, that a failure to obey a lawful summons constitutes a criminal offence, and on conviction one is liable to a fine or a period of imprisonment or both. And so that criminal charge would be laid in terms of that act. It would be a charge that is laid with the police, and the Deputy Chief Justice again made it clear that all of the evidence is publicly available. The hearing on Thursday was broadcast on eNCA and a range of other television stations, so the information is not difficult to ascertain. The Commission's staff, the Secretary of the Commission, will assist the police and the NPA in taking this matter forward. And so I think, the Deputy Chief Justice, as he said on Thursday, that this is a very grave and serious matter and needs to be dealt with accordingly. So that's the first part of it. Secondly, he did also indicate that they will be issuing another summons to Mr. Zuma to appear before the Commission and to deal with all of the outstanding matters, the testimony from 34 witnesses that implicates Mr. Zuma, as well as the requests that the Commission has made to him to respond on affidavit to various other allegations. And thirdly, that they will seek an order from the Constitutional Court compelling Mr. Zuma to obey such a summons. And I think the latter one is particularly important in that I think it's seeking to circumvent a long drawn-out legal process where if they were to go to the High Court, we'd have a series of appeals until the matter ends up in the Constitutional Court. So I think that by going directly to the Constitutional Court, they're seeking to try and fast-track this and get a decision from the Constitutional Court that makes it absolutely clear that Mr. Zuma has to respect and respond to a summons that is issued to him.
And if the Constitutional Court does compel Zuma to do what it is that Zondo wants him to do, Lawson, what are the options available to him and his lawyers? What is the possible? They put up a fight for everything else. What is the possible fight they could put up for this or against this?
They will argue that that there's they'll argue issues around jurisdiction. The court in the first lots of procedural arguments as to whether direct access to the Constitutional Court is appropriate in this case. We know that the court itself is reluctant to grant direct access to themselves without going through the other courts, but it may well be that they deem that this is an exceptional case that demands that they hear the matter as a court of first instance. So that procedural issue will be one of them. Of course, they will also say that they'll probably say that it's unnecessary for him to do that and that they are going to review his decision not to recuse himself and therefore the a constitutional court decision would prevent them from making such a review application. So I think there are a range of options that they will seek to table, but we will see how this plays out in the Constitutional Court should the court decide to hear the matter, and I think that's a question that remains to be answered.
I mean, and like you mentioned, in light of all their attempts to not have Zuma in that box answering any questions, I mean, we heard the one yesterday, they will review that decision. They also want to lay a complaint to the JSC against Zondo for being a witness and a judge in the issue that involved him as well. So how will all of that, play a big part in this? Or once the Constitutional Court actually makes its decision, should it decide to hear this, can they continue to delay, saying all of these processes are still underway?
Well, the JSC process will have no impact on or bearing on any of the other legal processes, either the review of the recusal application or this application by the Commission directly to the Constitutional Court. If indeed they lay a complaint with the Judicial Service Commission, that matter will be dealt with separately and will not hinder or impact on the court processes themselves. So I think we need to separate the two. I think the issue now is for Mr. Zuma's legal team to decide whether they're going to actually launch a review application of the recusal decision and how quickly they do that.
All right, thanks very much for that, Lawson. Naidoo, just making sense of what we've just heard from Deputy Chief Justice Raymond Zondo at the state capture inquiry there. The action, the very strong action that he is recommending be taken against former President Jacob Zuma for his walking out of the process last week without permission, saying that he has to send a strong message, because otherwise this says to other people who may not, other witnesses who feel that they don't actually have to come to this commission and answer questions, very serious allegations, or take part in a very serious process, that this is not on. You cannot come and go to this inquiry or this commission as you please.